Hi, Mike. Dan Roach from WBZ here. Just how much fun was last night, and how great was that for the game of hockey? People talking about it all over the world.
It was a lot of fun to be a part of it. Just an electric environment. The atmosphere was, and the energy in the building was, it was just palatable. And so, when you think about, competing in a high stakes environment, Stanley Cup finals, things of that nature, that was the feeling that it had. I thought the hockey game was tremendous, just the talent level on both sides. And what it means to these players on all the respective teams. It's as competitive hockey as exists, on the highest stage with the best players. And so, to have the opportunity the privilege to coach our team has been a whole lot of fun for our coaching staff. That might have been one of the best hockey games that I've been around.
Right side, front row.
Mike, you guys have obviously already punched your ticket to Thursday, but given there's so many Boston guys on the team, on your staff, yourself, John Hines, David Quinn, Chris Drury, what would it mean to you to win this tournament here in Boston?
Well, it would mean a lot to win this tournament anywhere. That's obviously the ultimate goal, to have the opportunity to do it in Boston, where a lot of us have, family ties and deep roots. Might add a little bit of excitement or to this experience for us. It just there's a little bit of a personal level to be able to share in the experience with friends, family that are right here in our backyard. So for me, it's an incredible opportunity for us and an incredible honor to have the opportunity or the privilege to coach this team. To do it in Boston just makes it that much more exciting.
Right side, second row.
Hey, Mike. What's Matthew Tkachuk's status for tomorrow? And then are you going to make any lineup decisions based on what happens in the earlier game where a team could potentially clinch?
So Matthew's status is right now he's continuing to be evaluated. So I can't give you anything more specific than that. We're going to make decisions that we think are best for our team, and so we're in the process of going through that discussion right now.
Standing on the left.
Mike, along those lines a little bit, but you have made it already into the final. I don't know if the impact of the game changes if on your end if Sweden has something to play for or if they don't, but what do you want to get out of this game tomorrow? You've only played 2 games together as a team. You've won them both, but you have a big one coming Thursday for sure. So what are you looking for out of this game tomorrow?
I think the important aspect from our standpoint is we want to continue to get better. We want to improve as a team. We want to make sure we're moving in the right direction. And so, and these games mean a lot to everybody. And so, I wouldn't suggest for 1 second that this game doesn't mean anything to our team. When we go on the ice, we want to put our best game on the ice, and we want to move the needle. We want to improve in different areas of our game. We want to improve in some of the concepts and the tactics that we've tried to introduce to the group. We've tried to wrap a little bit more detail around those concepts with each day that we're here, and it just gives us another opportunity to continue to get better in those areas. So that, number one, we have better execution, but also we're a little bit more predictable for one another on both sides of the puck.
Left side, front row.
Mike, if I can just go back to what you were talking about last night and what that was like. When you step back and look at what lies ahead for this game, Olympics next year, World Cup of Hockey 2 years after that, and so on and so on, what's the potential for the future for creating moments like last night, sort of moving on into the future?
I think the potential is boundless. When you watch a game like the game that went on last night, it's hard not to get excited as a hockey fan. I think it was an unbelievable celebration of hockey. It's best on best. It's the United States' best players against Canada's best players. There's familiarity on both sides. There's a mutual respect that exists on both sides, and there's also a tremendous amount of pride. And you could see how invested the players are to want to win. And, the emotional intensity of the game, the pace of play, the execution at such a high rate of speed. As a hockey fan, I don't know how you couldn't get excited about that. And so I thought the event was, it's great for our sport. It's great for opening eyes of potential opportunities moving forward on how we could create these types of events, maybe a little bit more consistently. It's great for the sport itself. I think it could inspire another generation of young players to want to play the game, like some of the events that impacted my generation, whether it be, the Miracle on Ice team in 1980. There's so many events like that that inspire the next generation of players. You look at the growth of hockey in the United States over the last 10 or 15 years, it's been remarkable. And, we're producing players in the United States out of non-traditional hockey markets that are at the highest level of the game. Austin Matthews from Arizona. We have players coming out of Florida and not typical hockey markets. I think that's the impact that events like this have. And so, for me, that's the potential and where it could go. We're proud of how hockey has grown in the United States. There's so many people that are responsible for that. Probably no one more than the volunteers at the grassroots level that put in their time with these young players because they love the sport and they're trying to help these young kids grow and mature. So I think those are all the benefits of events like this. And for me, to have the opportunity to participate in these types of events as one of the coaches is just an incredible honor.
We'll take a couple more. Left side, third row.
Have you had a chance to see your grandson Reese today, and what family plans do you have this week now that you're in Boston with your daughter here and your grandson?
So I have not yet, but that's my intention after I speak with you guys. I had some business to take care of with our coaching staff. We had some meetings earlier today, but that's my intention next is to go see my grandson and my family.
Right side, standing.
Mike, a couple of questions on the opening 9 seconds. Did you see that brewing at all, or was it an element as the coach to be as surprised as we were?
I did not see it brewing. I knew there was going to be an intensity to the start of the game. I knew that I knew how invested both teams were and what it meant to the players. I didn't anticipate, it to start the way it started, but I did anticipate an emotional start, probably a physical start, and so. It was an electric environment. It was an emotional environment, and both sides were vested. It was it set the tone for the rest of the hockey game, which was an emotionally intensive game. One of the more intense games that I've certainly witnessed and been associated with. For me, it's so indicative of what it means to these players on both sides. It was just a great hockey game.
And you're old enough to remember that NHL when we saw a lot of that, especially here with the Bruins back 30, 40 years ago. Did any of it take you back to then as a kid watching it?
It seemed to be more. It seemed to occur more often. That's for sure. You don't see that happen very often in today's game. I don't know that it took me back to those days. I think I was more caught up in the moment itself, quite honestly. I haven't really had an opportunity to reflect on the whole thing. The way we're looking at it right now is we still have a lot of work in front of us, and that's how we're approaching it. And we have a certain process that we apply every day, and we're gonna keep our eye on that ball and keep digging in here till we accomplish what we'd set out to accomplish. But there'll be a time for reflection at some point, but it's not now for me. So Listen, it was an incredible hockey game. For me, the best way I could describe it, as far as my feelings are concerned, is as a pure hockey fan, it's hard not to like that game and the experience that went on. It was an unbelievable celebration of hockey that at the highest level.
Last one, right side, third row.
Mike, you've had Sidney Crosby as one of your players for a long time, and now you coached against him last night. Is there any mixed feelings in a game like that, knowing that how great a player he is, but also knowing that obviously you want your team to win?
Yeah, obviously, I have great respect for Sid and care deeply for him. Him and I have worked together for a long time, and and he's a terrific person and a fierce competitor. And his body of work in the league, his legacy as a hockey player, speaks for itself. Having said that, when you get in these types of events. And I'm sure he would answer the question the same way I'm going to answer it. He's going to do everything in his power to try to win. That's what makes him the champion that he is. From my standpoint, I'm going to do everything as the coach of the U.S. team to try to put our guys in positions to be successful, and we're going to do everything we can to try to help our group win. That's just the world that we live in. It doesn't diminish for 1 second how I feel about Sid as a person or as a player. I have a tremendous amount of respect for him and what he's accomplished in the game and what he represents for our sport. I've said it a lot in Pittsburgh. I get asked this question an awful lot over the years about Sid, and the best way I can explain my relationship with him or how I feel about him is I just think he represents everything that's right about hockey. He carries himself off the ice with such humility and grace and integrity, but yet he's a fierce competitor and a warrior on the ice. And he has an insatiable appetite to be the best, and he's willing to put the work in every day to do it. That's what makes him what he is. But when we're on different teams, as we are in this particular event, I know he's going to do everything in his power to win, and I'm going to do the same on my side.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
Okay.